Okay, yo. Um, Back with round two, I guess, of Scholomance reviews. Actually, we have quite a few cards to talk about today, so let me just get right to it. We'll start with this one: Combustion, Mage, 3 mana, deal 4 to a minion. Any excess damages both neighbors. I'm not certain if that means that if you do 3 damage to the middle one, it does 1 damage each to the ones on the sides. It kind of seems like it's worded that way. That would be great. I think overall this is just a really good card. It's like a Shadow Bolt for Mage, except with a little bit of a bonus. And overall, just another great card to kind of keep building up Mage's control toolbox. This should fit right into a Highlander Mage. This should fit right into a Spell Mage. I think this card should see a lot of play. I'm going to give this a 4. Headmaster KT. This card is actually really cool. Spell Burst. If your spell destroys any minions, summon them. In the video reveal for this card, which is actually really cool, he used Brawl. KT Headmaster won the Brawl and summoned all of the minions that lost in the Brawl. Very cool. I think this should overall be pretty decent. Pretty strong in control. I'm not sure what decks are going to want to be playing this, but it should fit right into, something like Warrior, Control Warrior can be sick with this because you're already just building up your armor right up, and then on turn 6, drop this with a Shield Master and really just take advantage and have a huge tempo swing. This card should be pretty strong. I'm going to give this let's just give it a 5. I like it a lot. It's really cool. Steel Dancer. Rogue and Warrior, 4/4/4. Summon a random minion with cost equal to your weapon's attack. They really seem to actually be trying to push this attack damage of your weapon, in Rogue and Warrior. I think it's probably a better mechanic for the Warrior because the Warrior already has good weapons that you want to be playing. Ankar, for example, Risky Skipper is the best card in all of Warrior at this time. So, your Ankar, they have been playing live wire lances. They kind of stopped. Wrench Caliber, of course, is still here and live. And there's another card that we'll go into in a little bit that that gives you an upgrade on your weapon. That's pretty cool. There's, of course, a green skin. I think Rogue can actually duplicate it. I don't know if Warrior can duplicate it. Let's find out in a few. That being said, I'm not sure how strong that's going to be. If you're playing like an Ankar on 3 and then you Steel Dance on 4, it's only getting you a 2 mana card. It's decent. It's not super strong. If you play this after dropping a Scimitar in Rogue, you're getting a 4 mana card. That's actually kind of sick. This might make you want to play that card. Rogue also has Waggle Pick. And then, of course, Rogue has a dagger, which, they have deadly poison, and I guess a few other ways to increase the attack power of the weapon. So, I don't know, this could actually be pretty decent. I'm going to give this like a 3.5, but it could actually be very powerful because it's a nice early game drop. And if you have a weapon and you have this, the weapon is already likely to be gaining you a lot of tempo. And now you're also adding minions to the board, so this could actually be quite strong. You know what? Because it's a 4/4/4, I'm just going to give it a 4 as well. Infiltrator Lillian. Stealth, Death Rattle, summon a 4/2 Lillian that attacks a random enemy. I'm really having a tough time evaluating this card. As you guys know, I love Rogue, so I was really excited to see what the Rogue legendaries were going to be. And at first, when I saw this, I was a little bit underwhelmed. The problem with the summoning the Forsaken Lillian that immediately attacks is it only has 2 health, and it attacks a random enemy. So against a lot of aggressive opponents, you might just end up running it into something and dying. That might actually be okay because maybe you actually just want to clear the board against your aggressive opponents, depending on the type of rogue deck you're playing. I'm not quite sure if this is gonna make the cut. 4 damage twice, it's cool, but 1 is a random attack, doesn't seem that great. They could just go face, but Rogue has so many strong ways to keep dealing damage to the face that I don't know if you necessarily really want to be doing that early in the game. You don't need to get 8 damage into face on turn 4. I think you'd rather be clearing the board. So as much as it kind of pains me to say this, I kind of feel like this is going to be not that great. And I want to give this like a 2.5, 3 maybe. I think it could be okay. I think it could actually even be possibly strong because, Rogue has so many ways to control the board. But it just kind of feels a little slow. I kind of feel like I don't want to be playing 4 mana, 4/2 stealth on 4. Although right now we're mostly playing like Devoted Maniac and other garbage, and that seems to get the job done. So this could actually be pretty decent. And maybe it slots right into whatever rogue build ends up being quite popular. Cycle of Hatred. 7 mana, deal 3 to all minions, and summon a 3/3 for every minion killed. That's pretty cool. Seems strong as far as the effect goes, but 7 mana is so much. We're already not playing Chaos Nova in Demon Hunter, so you really have to be slowing the deck down in order to make this work. And at that point, do you really want to play this, or are you just going to play the Chaos Nova on 5? 2 mana is super a lot, especially when it comes to being like a really heavy card like this. What else can you do? You have to do this, and then you can't really do anything else in the turn. And by the time you get to that point in the game, 3 damage to all minions might not be enough. But maybe you just have a nice big board on 6, and you're able to get everybody down to the under 3 range, and then you can just kind of clear and build a board on 7. It's pretty strong. I'm not sure it's going to see play. I'm going to give it a 2. I'm going to give it a 2, because even though it is strong, and even though it is a cool effect, I don't think it's going to see much play. Maybe you discover it and get to play it. That could be cool. Oh wow, they show you related cards. Oh, okay, I see that. Ooh, Brittle Bone Destroyer. So Warlock and Priest are getting this really cool mechanic of if your hero's health is changing during the turn. That's really cool, and this one destroys a minion. Huge tempo. I think they're really slowing down the game. They're really attempting to slow down the game with Scholomance, which I love. Hopefully, we'll get to play more mid-range games. Hopefully more combo decks will be able to thrive. There might even be a control meta a little bit that allows for like Warrior and Priest to try and play control decks once in a while. I mean, in the meta, and then once in a while you get like a Fatigue Mirror. Those are always fun, contrary to everybody on Hearthstone Reddit's belief. I think this card is super strong. I think this card is one of the major reasons to play that kind of thing. It's so easy to change your health. Of course, you have your hero power and this on 6 to just destroy something, free assassinate, and you get 3/3. It's like a Caladan, and you get to draw a card where you get to heal your face. Super strong. I love that. And, Priest has cards like Renew and things like that that can just very easily allow you to do it on 4 or 5 mana. Warrior has Rain of Fire, a lot of just, in general, cards that will hurt your face. Even the Zoo deck has that 1 mana draw a card and do 2 damage to your face. It's like 1 mana, get a 2/1 and play your hero power. Very cool. I'm going to give this a 5. I love this card. Boneweb Egg. Death Rattle, summon 2 2/1 spiders. If you discard this, trigger its Death Rattle. That's kind of a cool mechanic, but I don't think that is going to be at all a part of the metagame. I don't think there's anything that we care, or I don't think there's any deck that's going to be discarding things. Maybe in Wild, I'm not sure if this would make the cut and like discard Warlock in the Wild. But in Standard, you don't care about the Death Rattle. The discard, which kind of gets you to the point where we already have a couple different eggs. Do you want to play this instead of those eggs that Zoo is only occasionally playing? I think the answer is I don't care about this card. I'm going to give it a 2. And if it's good, I don't care. I don't care for eggs. Disciplinary and Gandling. First of all, this art is sick. I can't wait to see it in Golden. 4 mana, 3/6. After you play a minion, destroy it and summon a what? Oh my gosh, this card is sick. This card is crazy. In Zoo, this card is crazy. This card that we just talked about, we don't care. Play this with this. Pretty cool. It is after you play a minion, not summon, so the Death Rattle, when this triggers, these 2/1s would not become 4/4s. This is very similar to Takan, except for it is not persistent effect after Gambling leaves the board, and it's 1 mana less, and it is much more durable, with 6 health. I really like it. I think this is really going to enable Zoo to like a really strong degree. I think this card is also kind of cool in Priest because it does have a Priest tag as well. It kind of enables Priest to play an early game that's a little bit more resilient and a little bit stronger so that they're not just hero powering all game in the early game. It does make you kind of feel like you have to save your Disciple of Galakron's for later, but if you're drawing them later anyway, that would be really good. I'm not sure if you get the battle cry. By the way of it that it looks, it kind of seems like you do get the battle cry, and you are of course getting death rattles. I'm gonna give this I want to give it a 5. Oops. I want to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 4.5 because maybe I'm getting too excited about it, but it seems like it's going to be really strong. It seems like it's going to be great in Zoo. It doesn't seem like you're going to want to play it in control decks or really mid-range decks too much. Maybe you might play it in a mid-range deck just because 3/6 is a good stat line, and you can also summon weaker minions and still get some value out of them. It's kind of like Amet in the sense that your opponent is going to want to destroy it immediately. But it's better than Amit, I think, because Amit you don't have to kill. Like if you put 5 damage into Amit, it's not the end of the world. If you put 5 damage into Gandling, it can possibly be the end of the world next turn. So I think it's super strong. Flesh Giant, a big mistake. Costs 1 less for each time your hero's health changed during your turn. Another card going into this changing your health mechanic. I think this is cool. The artwork is really awesome. Can't wait to see that in Golden. But actually, as I was thinking about this, I'm not sure this is going to be that great because it is an 8/8. But as we've learned in the past, in past metas, Giants are really, really best when you can cheat them out super early. And I just don't see how you can cheat this out on turn 4 or 5. I think between 4 and 6 is probably the time where you're going to get the most value out of this. By the time you get to 6, 7, and beyond, you can really, most decks have not too tough of a time dealing with this. So this card really makes sense only if you can get it out very early when your opponent has a tough time dealing with it, or later on in the game when it costs 0, 1, or 2, and you can play it alongside something else. So because it requires you to damage yourself or heal yourself, let's think about it from Warlock perspective. If you Rain of Fire on 1, if you tap on 2, if you Rain of Fire, tap on 3, that's 4 times you've damaged yourself. You can drop it on 4. It requires you to use both of your Rain of Fires and to tap both 2 and 3, so you've done nothing the first 3 turns except put 6 damage into your face and burned both of your Rain of Fires, which you of course had to have drawn. And only then can you get this 4/4 out on turn, or this 8/8 out on turn 4. I don't think that's realistic. I don't really think that's, something we're going to be doing. Again, maybe with that draw card, tap and draw card, 1 mana card, the Kobold, whatever it's called, that might be reasonable. You can intersperse that with the Rain of Fire so that you now have 4 cards which you can use to draw, and you're drawing twice, possibly 4 times. Possibly 3 times, let's be realistic, right? You still have to use the last one, so you're not getting a draw off the last one. The second Kobold, that is. So I don't think it's super realistic that you get this out on 4 in Warlock, maybe on 5, but that doesn't really fit into a Zoo deck because it's kind of too slow. Zoo would much rather just play their cards than be tapping all the time. Questlock, I just don't think that, I think that list seems quite tight. I'm not really sure what you want to be cutting for this. Maybe you want to be cutting like Abyssal Summoners if you don't want to play the Abyssal Summoners anymore, although Abyssal Summoners are super good, they're super synergistic. Maybe you want to cut Of Course It's the Right Way, but that means you don't hit your quest as often, although that card does tend to be dead later on in the game, but it is very crucial against aggressive decks in the early game that you kind of want to drop it. So I'm not quite sure what you want to take out, remove for this Flesh Giant, but that would not be a play that you make early in the game. It would be a play that you make late in the game. It's a little bit win more, so I'm not sure if Quest Warlock wants to play this. As far as Priest, again, Priest has to hero power all the time. Priest has to renew all the time, and only then can it play this on 4. But you know, we already have had we've had a couple different metas where Quest Priest, Res Priest has been a thing, and I think most of the player base has learned just don't hit Priest. So if nobody hits Priest, then Priest can never activate this card early. So I just don't really see how. And you know, if Priest is running 2 of this in their deck, we're just not going to be hitting Priest early on in the game, because Priests probably have nothing to do but heal their face early in the game anyway, and we don't really want to activate this. So I'm not sure if this gets much play in Priest either. I think we can be quite sure, not certain, but pretty sure that this card will have a tough time being cheated out on 4 or 5 when it would make the highest impact. And I think late in the game, you know, Priest already has so many good control tools. And again, it's kind of the case of what do you want to cut for this, because Priest needs all of their early game in order to stave off aggressive enemies. And that early game includes like Breath of the Infinites, AoEs, penances, clears, control tools. So you don't want to play this over your control tools. And they have a lot of strong late game options as well. So maybe you don't want to play this, especially if Galakron Priest remains to be a thing, because then you just discover this off of Galakron's Wit a lot. I think this is going to be great when you're able to discover it. I'm not sure what decks are going to play it. So because I know we're still going to see this card a lot because of Galakron's Wit, I'm going to give it a... Oh man, because when that happens, it's going to be really strong. In that scenario, off of Galakron's Wit, if a controlled Priest or a slower game Priest can be a thing, which it kind of looks like Blizzard is setting the meta up to work that way a little bit. Gosh, we've been going for 17 minutes already. I don't know how close we are to finishing. I don't even think we're halfway through these cards yet. Oh my god, we're not even close. We've only done 10 cards. Let's move a little quicker. I'm going to give this a 2.5, 3. But when you get it off Wit, it's going to be like a 4.5. It's going to be nuts. Okay. Cabal Acolyte. Oh my god, I just want to talk so much about all of these cards. You know what? Why don't we split this up into 2 videos? Let's be done with this one, and then we're going to do another one. I'm going to start it right away. Thank you for watching. Peep the next one. Hope y'all are safe. Hope y'all are good. Hope y'all are having fun. And I hope y'all are excited for this expansion. I think it's going to be pretty awesome.